Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge. My name is Sia Nejad, and we are brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. I see Farzad in the chat, Jason Pogwist, Adam Fry, Freddie Bear. Lydia's in here along with Charlie Kennedy. Have you hit the like button yet? If not, you might like the recap screen. How about hitting it for that? Because we are on a nice little run here. Look at these SportsLine picks. Prop bet guy, Bruce Marshall, ×2, Will Brinson. This team has been real hot, especially that SportsLine team overall. Overall, we go 6-3. I carry my golf pick over. That one hits. Mike McClure hits his first half team total again, 6-3. We've had a lot of good winning days this week. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to keep that rolling, but not just keep the winning rolling, keeping the vibes rolling for BPE Friday. Oh, we got the Snyper. We got the buckets. We got Danny Brasco. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot to talk about. We're talking UFC. We're talking World Series, soccer, NFL, college football. We got hockey picks. You name it, we've got it. But the thing that we need to start off with is your chip me up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Sniper. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Hurley Hedge fam. Hit a dinger out of the park for you on a Friday. I'm fired up, Sia, because I need to hear this is the World Series. This is the time where I gotta get all my casual out. I gotta pour out that bucket for all the things that I love about this great pastime. So let's go. It's been a week. Hey, did we cash on Tuesday night? You're darn right we cashed on Tuesday night. We've had weeknight football, but tonight I'll be looking at the diamond. Oh, yeah. And of course, got some college football winners for you as well. Let's go.
Friday night college football winners coming from Chip. And don't forget, last Friday, Chip was on the show. He went 4-0. Then he hits his Tuesday pick. I mean, this guy is on a nice little run. So is a lot of this team. Buckets, I guess you're on a nice run. And you've got to... Oh, sorry.
Don't mention the heater. Don't just...
But when Kareem mentions it in the chat, you're totally cool with it. But when I mention
he's my boy. He's my boy. Thank you, Kareem. Thanks for looking out, brother. Yeah, we're on a little bit of a heater. I want to shout out my man Chip and Danny and Sniper, and just Chip and Danny and Sniper. We are filling this bucket up with cash. I won on an under the other day. I think I've maybe done that twice in my 4 years of betting, thanks to Chip. So thank you, Chip, for the heater. Thank you, Danny, for all you do. Thank you, Sniper. And that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, I didn't hear my name there, but that's fine. It was just an oversight, just a simple oversight. Sniper, Chip set the table really well here because we've gone like a few days in a row and we haven't really talked a ton about the World Series because we haven't had a game yet, right? And we have a game finally starting tonight. So before you get to your picks, can you just set the table here? I don't know if you have a series price pick or if you're just like, you're feeling the vibes of the Toronto Blue Jays who feel like a massive underdog. Talk to me.
I have Dodgers in 5 in this one. The story of the series for me is Dodgers starting pitchers against the Blue Jays offense. The Dodgers starting pitching has been unbelievable in the playoffs so far. Pretty much every single starter is going 7 innings or so, just completely taking their bullpen, which is their Achilles heel, out of the equation. And the Blue Jays had the best batting average in the regular season. They can slug if you need them to. They can string together hits. They can take their walks and get on base. It's going to be very fun to see if the Blue Jays can get any offense going against the Dodgers starters. And that is going to be the story of the series. And I will get into a little bit of that later with the Game 1 Dodgers starter. So a little foreshadowing there.
Hey, that's a tease. Hey, so Sia,
yeah,
this is why Sniper was top of mind, because this was incredibly relatable. And I hate to pull the curtain back too much, but we are a show of transparency. So yesterday at 4:08 p.m. Eastern time, Ben sends out the initial like, hey guys, going to go ahead and get the conversation started, get in your picks. It did not take 30 minutes for Snyder to respond, which means he's where I am at the end of the college football playoff, which is like, I have thought about these teams and these games for so long. Like by the end of it, like an HQ producer will text me. I'm like, oh, here's all of my picks for the college football playoff semifinals. But you are so dialed in. You've thought about this. He's been talking about this since Game 7 was over. And now it's like, God, first pitch already, please. And now we're ready to go.
Finally, we're here. Danny Brasco, we're also here for UFC 321. Real quick update, because I know you gave out picks earlier in the week. Any updates with respect to any of the fights?
It's really frustrating sometimes betting the fight game, especially early, because it's the fight game. People get hurt. People decide to pull out for medical issues, right? If you're slightly compromised, you don't want to go in there and get into a cage fight. So Mateus Camilo on the money line, we had him minus 105. He was going up to the minus 125 range. I know he was going to win that fight. Fight's off. So we won't have that one, but I got plenty more main card picks, title fights on the line in UFC 321. I am jacked up, Sia.
All right, we're going to get to UFC 320. We have so much to get to right now. So I guess we'll start with a bit of an appetizer, the tapas, if you will. Buckets, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Absolutely, Sia. I've got 2 plays for us this afternoon, and we're starting with a very tough one. I think for me as a capper, one of the hardest things mentally is finding a bet that you really, really like, that makes perfect sense, that everything lines up, and then it just misses and you look like an idiot. It's part of the industry. It's part of what we do. But I'm looking at the line between Real Sociedad versus Sevilla, and I heavily, strongly, massively disagree with the lines on this one. Real Sociedad are 18th on the table. They have a single win, and they've got one of the worst defenses in all of La Liga. They're playing a Sevilla side who's 9th on the table, who has wins, who's been in really good form, who's looking good, who struggles a bit on the road. But Sevilla are the heavy underdogs, and I just don't disagree with this line. It doesn't make sense to me. They're not missing any key players, so I'm going to put myself out there to potentially look like an idiot on this one. I'm going with Sevilla double chance. It's minus 120. That means Sevilla has to win or draw. I also like Sevilla draw no bet at plus 150. And I also like Sevilla money line at plus 280. I think the books have the wrong team favorite here, and I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is and back a Sevilla side that is in much better form, that has a much better offense, and defensively, not great, but you don't have to be great defensively when you're scoring 2 or 3 goals a game. For my second bet, I am going to, where am I going to? Italy. There it is. Serie A. We've got AC Milan taking on Pisa. Pisa. They are back in Serie A for the first time in 34 years, and they are clearly not ready to be playing in the top flight. AC Milan is top of the table with the best defense currently in Serie A. Pisa have only 3 goals scored in 7 games, and they are just struggling to survive at this point. I think they're going right back down, and they're getting relegated. So I'm doing a bet I rarely do. I'm taking AC Milan on the spread. AC Milan minus 1.5 goals at minus 120 here, which means Milan have to win by 2 or more. I don't think that the opponents score. I'm looking at a 2-0, 3-0 final scoreline. This lets me kind of play it a bit different than a money line or a team total or my favorite bet, both teams to score, because I don't think both teams do score here, Sia.
All right. I got a couple of soccer plays. Buckets, people, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, Chip, I know I pronounced that team wrong. Can you help me pronounce that one? Pisa?
Pisa, I mean, that's fine. So you're saying Milan's going to lean on him?
Oh, come on.
Also, someone in the chat bucket says Little Caesars would like a word with you. Pizza.
Oh, okay.
Buckets.
I am glad they're up, because as a Fiorentina fan, normally the Tuscany battles, you know, there's like you're reviving the rivalries from when they were just like kicking around an old leather ball in the 1800s. You know, it's they're probably going back down, but I'll take.
It is cool to see.
This year.
Buckets, before we get to Chip Patterson's football picks, people want to know why you're wearing a sport coat.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a sports coat because underneath this, I'm wearing my Bayern Munich cutoff jersey, and I didn't want to show too much skin here on the show, so I'm being a bit more professional today than normal.
Wow. Just wow.
I mean, it's the early edge. You didn't need to put it. By the way, I think it's sport coat. I don't think you need to put the plural on sports, right, guys? It's sport coat.
I believe
sports coat.
Farzad, what I care about is Farzad said it looks like the Anchorman Mantooth coat. Farzad, Dorothy Mantooth is a saint.
hey, Buckets thought it was the jacket you wear when you talk about sports.
All right. And on that note, I've given my 2 plays. I've taken enough harassment for the day. I am off. Goodbye, guys.
All right. See you later, Buckets. All right. He'll be back. Chip Patterson. We've got football to talk about. A lot of picks to get to. There was something else. Sniper, real quick, before we get to Chip Patterson, I need your commentary here. Welcome back, Buckets. There we go. That's the Buckets I know and kind of love. Sniper, talk to me about SGA. They played OKC played the Pacers yesterday. You had a comment in the chat. Can I say the reason I'm giving you airtime here is because when we did the NBA Futures show on Monday, which again is still in everybody's feed, I mentioned like, I was pretty serious about it. I said, I hope the refs don't give us the same SGA treatment that we got last year, because it's really annoying to watch.
It was
Apparently, I didn't see the game yesterday because I was dialed in on Monday Night Football.
He shot 26 free throws. 26.
Yeah, there you go. It's not a good watch, right?
As I said in the chat, this isn't me being a sore loser. I expected the Pacers to lose that game. I thought it was a very fun game for the most part. Pacers lost fair and square, but I just don't know how it's enjoyable basketball when the best player basically only cares about getting to the foul line.
Unethical hooping.
There's so many shots where he does a shot fake and then jumps into the guy just to get fouled.
Into the guy, exactly.
It's just not enjoyable basketball to me, and it kind of doesn't seem like you're manning up. Like, I just feel like there's an element of like, can't you beat me without jumping into me just to get fouled? Can't you beat me in another way? And that's the part to me that's very frustrating. But hey, my team lost, so I'm butthurt. I get it.
It's not enjoyable basketball. It's also not basketball. It's just this modern basketball that they've created, and it's not enjoyable. Brasco, go ahead, and then we'll get to football.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the product anymore. I'm kind of an NBA hater. I mean, I'm not going to talk about all the other stuff that's going on, but to be frank, like, I think that your point, Sniper, like, you know how they made the Kobe rip through a foul on the floor? They might need to do something like that with the way SGA is drawing contact and getting these shooting fouls, because it's unethical hooping.
And I know that, like, they took away some of the flopping and James Harden, like, completely jumping into a guy from the 3-point line. They kind of tried to make that a point of emphasis and take that away. But it's just like, okay, well, where's the emphasis when it's SGA every single time he shot fakes and jumps into a guy?
Yep, fair enough. All right, let's get to some more picks. Buckets, people want to see the gun show now that you've shed the sport coat. Chip Patterson, kick us off with some Friday night lights, and then you got some Saturday plays.
Yeah, always try to look for a best bet on a Friday night. I saw some comments in the chat looking at that North Texas over. They're playing at Charlotte. I would do North Texas team total. Don't mess with whatever Charlotte is going to be able to do or not do. And I understand, I believe that's 41.5, 42.5. But still, if you're going to attack that one, but I'm going to turn your attention to Blacksburg. I'm going to turn your attention to Lane Stadium, a little ding, 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 ding. You know, just like that inner Sandman coming through the speakers. But here's the deal. I think that you do have an opportunity maybe to catch Cal, because they had to come all the way from Berkeley to Blacksburg. New environment for this new ACC team, still in its second year of conference membership. But, buddy, don't forget Virginia Tech fired its coach in September, and we're talking about a skeleton staff. So, while I think that they could be fired up, I think they've got a good opportunity to jump all over the Bears. I almost thought about taking the Bears full game, but that's not the best bet. If I think that Virginia Tech is going to jump all over the Bears, who are going to be getting rolling after having to make that cross-country travel, well, then we can just go Virginia Tech in the first half. Just a skinny little 3. That's all you got to lay. Just a cute little 3. Just lay those 3 points. You get Virginia Tech going to the locker room with 4, 5, 6, 7 points. You are cashing this ticket. And then you don't have to trust an interim coach, an interim staff trying to land the plane. Again, you are riding the environment of Virginia Tech fan base that has been ride or die even through some very disappointing seasons. But we do not trust the coaching staff to be able to take it all the way 60 minutes. So we go Virginia Tech first half -3. On to Saturday, where one of the best covering teams in America, the Vanderbilt Commodores, are ready to anchor down once again. They were a favorite against a ranked SEC team last year, and everyone was like, come on, they can't do that. Well, they did. Yeah, you're darn right they did. They covered against LSU, and they're going to cover against Missouri. I think that this Missouri offense has really started to regress since they got into SEC play. Drew Pribula is not as much of a downfield passer, and defenses recognize that. And so that means Ahmad Hardy, who looked like he might have been a Heisman Trophy candidate earlier in the season, we have seen his rushing production go down and down and down as they've gotten deeper into conference play. I think that I would take Diego Pavia over Drew Pribula all day long. And I think that the Commodores are just built to win games like this. So we'll take Vanderbilt. We'll lay the 2.5. Then, what do they say about Death Valley, Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge? It's where dreams go to die. And if you're Texas A&M undefeated for the first time in decades after 7 games, well, then you are a little bit nervous about an upset alert. But, buddy, to win games like this, you got to score points, and LSU's offense stinks. So the way I'm going to attack this is very similar to Virginia Tech. I'm looking at home field advantage. I'm looking at them being able to rise up and ride an LSU defense that has been excellent. So for Texas A&M coming on the road, Death Valley at night, I think it's going to take a little while to get that offense clicking. LSU drags them into the mud. We're going Texas A&M, LSU, first half under 24.5. And one last note on college football. This is kind of across the country. Two things I want you to monitor. Number one, I don't know if it's going on in your family, if it's going on at your school, but players are starting to get a little sick. Like we're just starting to get some players who are popping up as doubtful, starting to hear some reports about that chicken noodle soup, about those IVs, and how many of these guys are going to play a Michael Jordan flu game, and how many of these guys are going to be put on the bench just in hopes of making sure that they'll be ready for the next game. That's stuff to monitor all the way up to kickoff across the country. And the second one, the reason why I wore my Wonder shirt, the wind aided under, is it's going to be a windy day all across the country. Watch for the weather conditions. It is going to be a weather and sickness weekend. There's going to be some wild results. So as always, stay up to date with all the latest information on these local forecasts.
The forecasts in college football and the NFL are going to be critical for basically the rest of the season. So it's something we talk about on Fantasy Football Today, DFS. Also already in everybody's feed with me, Mike McClure and Meg Schaup.
We're talking about the same country one day apart. So I guess the NFL weather is already on your radar as well for this weekend? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And there's not any major weather implications for the NFL Sunday games, at least not as of now. But once we get into November, December, Chip, as well as anybody, Saturday and Sunday, and you can see the impact when you look at the totals, right? Because that's really where we're going to see the adjustment. You might have a 51-point total, and then all of a sudden it's 48.5 or something, and you can tell that's weather related.
The Arkansas-Auburn game will be disgusting. I mean, just like sheets and sheets of rain and wind. And it's not the kind where you can even necessarily automatically jump on the under, because players they might just not pass, and then players are slipping, and then you're just rolling off long touchdowns. So there's going to be some wild viewing for college football on Saturday.
We do have another college football pick. And Ben, if you don't mind jumping in here, because people have been clamoring for your producer picks, and I see Jen already talking about Kurt Cincinnati and Indiana. Well, this is where your producer pick comes in. So lay it on us.
Sure. I'll pop up the old Indiana -14 for the first half bet for this one. I know Sniper's happy about this one as well. I don't know if Indiana is able to cover these full games. I think these numbers and these spreads have gotten really high, which, deservedly so. Indiana's been an amazing team this season, so they're going to get some high spreads, especially at home. So I'm going to stick with the first half, and you get a UCLA team who is 3-0 coming into this game, according to head coach Kurt Cincinnati. This team is 3-0. We got to be prepared for a team that's on the run, a runaway freight train, I've heard people call them, for UCLA coming in. But I think they're going to be brought back down to earth this weekend. UCLA has had some pretty easy games to get to 3-0. They had Penn State after a huge loss. Then Penn State had to travel 3,000 miles west and go play UCLA. A bit of a trap game there. They had to play a bad Maryland team that might fire Mike Loxley. They have to play a Michigan State team that's looked worse and worse as the weeks have gone on. So I think Indiana brings them back down to earth right away. First two quarters, it's going to be 50 degrees. It's going to be chilly. It's going to be a little windy, like Chip said. I think UCLA struggles with the travel, with the colder weather, with an Indiana team that just has their sights set on being undefeated this season. So I will gladly just take 2 touchdowns for Indiana to score in that first half. I think UCLA struggles to score a little bit to start the game. So give me IU first half -14.
Real quick, do you know what time this game is on Saturday? Is it a 1 o'clock start?
12.
I think it's
12 o'clock?
Noon. Yeah.
So because Jen in the chat says UCLA is not good. They looked awful against Maryland. Now they have to travel across the country and play early.
Yeah.
It's
a tough spot.
For a 12 o'clock West Coast team, Chip, that's a pretty big deal, especially when you're considering a first half bet.
And for Jen's very astute comment, that was the conversation Ben and I were having before the show started. UCLA is 3-0, but they did not look good against Maryland. A lot of that was Maryland just refusing to take that game in control. Something we've been talking about with the Terps, who are a very young team all season long. So yeah, we're starting to see UCLA. Some of the shine is wearing off a little bit. And buddy, Indiana is the kind of merciless, relentless monster that just absolutely puts you in a body bag.
Okay, that's actually
there's no. They
This
don't
is
stop
still
fighting.
this is still just surreal. Like,
I
who
know,
would have
I
ever
know.
thought anybody was ever saying that about Indiana football? It's just like, yeah.
This was me with the Commanders last year, by the way. Same feeling. I'm like, oh,
No,
we're
it is
good for
not
the first
same
time in 3
feeling
days.
because Washington won Super Bowls. Indiana was fundamentally like the worst power conference.
Literally the
football
worst
program.
Power 5 team.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I mean, Washington won Super Bowls before anybody watching was born, is the thing, or most people. That's
you
the
know,
problem.
I'm 47, so
Joey
Yeah, well,
I was
Theismann.
definitely alive.
Yeah, I mean,
I was definitely alive for Doug Williams and Mark Rippon. Come on.
That's those 87 and 91. You go back, check those teams were amazing. Joe Gibbs, an amazing coach, doesn't get the recognition he deserves these days. All right, we got to get to way more picks. But I do want to tell you about thank you, Ben. I do want to tell you about a BetMGM promo. BetMGM players will receive a college football parlay boost. Maybe you want to parlay some of the bets you just heard about. Just make a college football parlay and activate the token. Score extra winnings if your wager that was made with the token wins. Now let's look at some SportsLine picks. We are covering all of the bases. Cooper Flagg over 2.5 assists from Matt Severance. That's -114. We got the Cowboys team total over 23.5 points, -120. That game at Denver. I might have a prop on that game in the prop show, FYI, at 1 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. We got Jerry Jeudy under 18.5 longest reception, +102. That one from Prop Bet Guy. And we've got an NHL model pick, the San Jose Sharks, +1.5 at +116. And here is the model simulated pick. It is an A-graded pick per the SportsLine model. And again, if you are a SportsLine member, you get access to all of this stuff. We got to go to a break, but Danny, I got to bring you in next, because as soon as somebody said body bag, I'm like, all right, it's Brasco's time.
Damn.
So let's take a break. We'll hear a message from our partners. We'll get to the World Series. We'll get to some golf, and we'll get to some, buckets. Okay, fine. Interrupt.
Sorry. Before we go to the break, real quick, I just want to give out a live bet, if that's okay. There's a wait for a Conference League replay that's going on right now between Rijeka and Sparta Prague. Take over 0.5 goals in that game. It's in the 70th minute, -120. Both teams just subbed in their best attackers that were on the bench. So you've got 25 minutes of just heat incoming. So I'm going to live bet a goal on that. Just wanted to share that with everyone.
I'm on it.
That was amazing. 25 minutes of heat incoming. And we got a message from our partners incoming.
Only CBS Sports can bring you big time during the heart of Saturday afternoons. It's big time.
It's big time. It's big time. It's big time.
On CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
We're back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Danny Brasco, your takes are always legendary. Talk to me about UFC. 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go, Sia. Wait, first of all, everyone in the chat, put your hands together. Can I get everyone on the show? Get a little hand clap going. Let me get some rhythm. Here we go. Tommy Aspinall, Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall. The future GOAT is headed to defend his heavyweight title, and he's going to silence all the John Jones people in the background that don't think that Tom Aspinall is going to walk through Cyril Gane and prove that he is the greatest heavyweight to ever live, the one that retired Jones without fighting him. Now, yeah, a little bit of bias you hear here. I love Tom Aspinall, but I truly believe everything I'm saying. And I truly believe that Cyril Gane is no match for him. I think Aspinall does what he does in all 15 of his pro wins. And that's get Gane out of here in the first 10 minutes of the fight. Give me Tommy to win in rounds 1 or 2 at -135. Because Gane, who is a guy that I think the sharp argument is people are saying that the speed, the athleticism, the build of this fluid kickboxer could test Aspinall. What if he takes Aspinall into deep waters? A guy that I mentioned has never been out of the second round. Take Aspinall into deep waters? Cyril Gane? Is this the Merab Dvalishvili, like cardio beast, tough, hard-nosed, mentally strong guy that's going to push Tom Aspinall to the brink? I think that's a psychotic argument. Gane is kind of a known quitter. He's a guy that's been mentally weak in many spots. And I think that he might get real hurt with the first shot that lands on him, or Tom Aspinall mauls him on the ground. Cyril Gane's grappling deficiencies have let him down at the highest level each time. So if he gets clipped with a clean shot, maybe the follow-up comes the ground and pound, and nobody survives that. But I like Tom Aspinall to do exactly what John Jones did to kind of battle this narrative against him, right? I can do anything you can do and better. Give me Aspinall to win by round 1 submission at plus 650. When I initially came on to SportsLine, I wasn't around for too long. We hit this on Jones against Cyril Gane for huge plus odds, because look at Cyril Gane in all of his title fights. He had that opportunity against Francis Ngannou, the boxer. He made him look like a D1 wrestler. Ngannou was spear tackling him. He body slammed him. And Gane in the 5th round of that fight that was 2-2 on the table, up for grabs, he jumped a heel hook. Foolish move. Ngannou reversed him, ended up on top, and that was the fight. Then you fast forward to the John Jones fight. He instantly folded to that guillotine. John Jones slipped one right hand, got the body lock, dragged him to the floor, put him up against the fence, mounted guillotine. I don't know why Tom Aspinall can't do the same exact thing. He's a lifelong Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach. Yes, his boxing has gotten all the acclaim because he's trained with Tyson Fury. That speed, that right hand is crazy. But if he wants to put you on the floor, Gane isn't getting back up. Aspinall has 4 takedowns in the UFC, 2 submissions, 2 ground and pound finishes. You don't get back up. And he can just do it with like a blast double leg. Look how he took down Alexander Volkov and then put him in a straight arm lock. Aspinall doesn't just need to choke you. He has leg locks, he has arm locks, and he doesn't need some kind of clean run the pipe single leg technique. He can spear tackle you. And Gane has had that done to him before. So if this fight hits the ground, Gane is saying that he's fixed some of his grappling weaknesses. Go look at the last fight, which he was totally gifted a win against Alexander Volkov. Every time Volkov threatened with a guillotine, which he got submitted by, Gane laid right back down. He fears that guillotine. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom hit the same sub that John Jones did. Okay, that's my Tom Aspinall rant. Then we have another title fight on the line. And to be frank, aside from Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Buena Silva for the interim bantamweight title, like, what? This is probably the worst title fight you'll see. But I'm interested in it because the strawweight belt is up for grabs with Wei Li Zhang vacating it and going to fight in a super fight between 2 of the best women to ever step into the cage. It's going to be Wei Li versus Valentina Shevchenko. Until then, someone needs to wear this belt. And I think it's going to be Virna Jandiroba, because this is a battle between grappling aces with Mackenzie Dern, both jiu-jitsu specialists who can submit you from a variety of positions. But the key difference to me in this fight is Jandiroba's wrestling and her physicality. A grappler needs to be able to put the fight on their terms, right? And Dern is more opportunistic in the scrambling. She'll find her way to an awkward position and then put you in deep, deep trouble. But Jandiroba is the fighter that I believe can take Dern down, put her on her back, really decide those clinch exchanges with her physicality. I think her wrestling is better, and for that reason, she has the edge. I wouldn't be surprised if for long periods in this fight, the grappling kind of canceled it out and it ended up being a little weird striking affair. That could be fun because both of these girls, while they leave a lot to be desired in their kickboxing, they're both very tough and willing to engage in a bit of a brawl. So Dern's going to bring the forward pressure. Jandiroba's going to look to bring the grappling. And it should be a really fun competitive fight that I think goes the distance, but ultimately the wrestling, the physicality of Jandiroba gets it done. So give me Tommy Aspinall to defend his belt. Give me Jandiroba to take the strawweight title, and give me an excellent UFC 321 card in Abu Dhabi, guys. Super early start time. So wherever you are, get up early, get your coffee, and enjoy the violence.
Woo! Bash it.
Enjoy
Enjoy the violence. So what time, if I'm on the East Coast, what time can I expect this card to start?
10 a.m. start time for UC. 7 a.m. Pacific time. So, yeah.
What day?
Saturday morning.
Okay, so Saturday morning, because I thought it might carry over to, I don't know time zones. I thought it might carry over to Sunday. Okay, gotcha. Wow, okay, that's different. Let's see. Liddy says, Ben, can you reproduce that and make the crew look like they have some rhythm? Yeah, Danny, you caught us off guard. Didn't appear that any of us had rhythm.
Wonky. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. All right, we got to get to World Series. People have been waiting for World Series. However, Sniper, really quick before we get there, and we got some questions to answer too, soccer related, I'm sure UFC, college football, baseball, and otherwise. Let me give out 2 really quick 3-ball matchups. Now, just so there's no confusion, 3-ball matchup means it's a head-to-head matchup, but you can only find it over at DK. So I'm going to give out the 3 balls as well in case you don't have this available to you. But if you go under 3-ball matchups at DK, you can find these bets. I've got David Lipsky minus 110 over David Skins. If you watch the show on Tuesday night, the early wedge, you know I was kind of a fan of David Lipsky. I included him in a ridiculous top 30 parlay. And it's because David Lipsky has very much been on the radar until maybe his last tournament or two. He's in my opinion, he's definitely found something. And I like David Skins. I like his ability to get hot, but I think Lipsky is playing way better golf right now. So I think this is a pretty good number. He's actually a slight dog in this one, as David Skins is -115 versus Lipsky's -110. Take that 3-ball matchup. If you don't have it available to you, I don't mind for maybe a lesser unit size, the 3-ball that includes Ben Martin. That's going to be around +135, +140. Again, the David Lipsky 3-ball, I think, is in play. Next, we go to Mac Meisner, another 3-ball matchup, but I'll tell you about the 3-ball itself in a second. Mac Meisner over Carson Young. Carson Young, a popular guy coming into this tournament. I know Jason Sobel was on him to some degree. Mac Meisner is one of my outrights. He started off yesterday really poorly and then bounced back and finished his round at -4, which is pretty great. He's one of my 4 outrights, so he's actually in contention with a couple of my other outrights, frankly. So I like Mac Meisner coming into this tournament. Another guy, short sample size, but it does appear that he has found something with his ball striking in particular. I like him -130 over Carson Young. I'll be honest with you. I was a little surprised at this price. I kind of wanted it to be -120 or -115. I went with it anyway. So I would say that Lipsky is a slightly stronger play from a price standpoint, but I do like Meisner over Carson Young. If you only have the 3-ball itself available to you, it adds in Ben Silverman. I think Ben Silverman's a decent course fit here, but he's not playing very well. So I think that 3-ball at like in that +140 range as well is definitely in play. Okay, so those are my 2 3-ball matchups. Find them over at DK. The round 3 balls are in play as well. Hey, we still have golf, Chip Patterson. We got golf here and there.
No. Buckets live play cash.
He bashed
No way.
it. He bashed a live bet.
Not only did it cash, let me brag for a second. It cashed because Rijeka subbed in Daniel Adu-Ajay, their new striker, in that number 9 spot. He comes off the bench and scores exactly how we wrote it up, Sia.
Bash
Okay.
life.
2 things.
Bash it.
2 things. Bash it. I'm a little embarrassed because, Chip, I thought you were waving the flag for like the towel for me. Like, oh, yeah, golf, what a great take. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then I realized it was just for buckets and he's stealing my limelight yet again. So I'm a little upset.
And there was some comments in the when buckets is firing off some of these, you do need to know that MGM is where I found it.
Yep.
It was not available. I saw some comments in the chat. They were at different books. They weren't able to find this rescheduled Europa Conference League game. But there it is. I found it on MGM. I was able to get in. Buckets, thanks for the look.
I just want to say that in 90% of football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, matches, at the 70th minute, one more goal is a bettable line. It's always going to be between +100 and -140. So if you're seeing a very competitive, tight match where maybe it's 0-0 or it's 1-0 and the better team's behind, always look at live betting in that last 20 minutes because you're going to get that stoppage time as well. And a lot of times the books don't account for that. So they're basing this off of ending at 90, and you get 8 more minutes all of a sudden. So that's what I did there, was waited till the 70th minute, saw it was a close game, saw good attackers came on. Bash it.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I was live total over 0.5 -110.
Amazing.
Yep.
That's fire. Yeah, great live catch. And I'm just a degenerate soccer bettor. I learn from buckets, but when I bet, I'm just like betting draws. It's good to know that you just said it because I always cash out in like the 80th or 85th minute. I want no part of stoppage time. So
nope, it's terrifying.
Yes.
It looks like a lot of people actually did bash that. Mark M, Jeanette Silva, Mr. Big. It looks like there's a lot of people that were in on that. So Buckets, thanks for, normally when you interrupt me, I don't like it, but in this particular case, it was very, very useful for everyone. Chris Diorio says, no Victor Perez again. I don't like how Victor Perez, we won that bet yesterday, but I hated how he ended his round. And I just kind of want to avoid those vibes going into the next round here. But if you want to take that over Alex Smalley, I certainly don't dislike it. I just don't like how he finished his round. And I just wonder if that carries over into his second round there. So it's a no for me. All right, Sniper. This is very much I think what a lot of the people in the chat have been waiting for. The World Series is finally starting here. You already said you like the Dodgers 4-1 to win the World Series. Talk to us about your bets tonight.
Yeah, we're going to start with a low-scoring first 5 innings. It's for you, first 5, Sia. I'm going to start with under 3.5 runs in the first 5 innings. Look, Blake Snell has been unbelievable in the playoffs, 0.86 ERA so far. He's been getting really deep into games. He's been efficient, which is not the Blake Snell calling card, but I really think he's going to continue to throw very well. Good recent history against the Blue Jays. He faced them 1 time this year through 5 scoreless innings. Last year, 5 scoreless innings. 2 years ago, 5 innings, only 1 run allowed. So I love Blake Snell tonight. Also on the other side, it's the kid, Trey Savage, unfamiliar to the Dodgers. Now, they aren't awful against the splitter like the Yankees are. Remember, the Yankees struck out 11 times, and it was mostly he was just hammering them with that splitter. The Dodgers are actually pretty good against the splitter, but they haven't seen him before. It's a very tough pitch anyway, generally speaking. So I think we're going to see a lot of soft contact from the Blue Jays here, or from the Dodgers, at least for the first 5 innings. And even if Savage does give up, let's say 3 runs, it could be 3-0 Dodgers through 5 innings, and we could still cash this thing. So I think it's going to be relatively low scoring through 5 innings, and we're going to get home here. It's plus money anyway. Also, I do think the Dodgers are going to win the game. And I think it's going to be a similar formula to the other 9 games that they've won in the playoffs so far. Out of 10, they're 9-1 so far. Starting pitchers gotten the win every single time. I believe that there's better value here betting on Blake Snell to get the win than there is on the money line. So we're going to go with Blake Snell to get the W. As I said, he's been throwing the ball really, really well so far this postseason. He's getting deeper into games. I believe he's going to go 6 or 7. And if he does that, the Dodgers are going to have the lead when he goes out. They'll hold on by the skin of their teeth with that Achilles heel of a bullpen they have. And we're going to get home here with plus 137. A few things from the chat. I saw somebody say, like, nobody's giving the Blue Jays any chance. I wanted to talk about that because just because I'm picking the Dodgers in 5 doesn't mean I think the Blue Jays have no chance at all. I definitely think the Blue Jays have a chance. They need to outslug the Dodgers. They led the majors in batting average during the regular season. So this is going to be the best, most consistent offense the Dodgers have seen so far. If they get to those Dodgers starting pitchers early, they could definitely win the series. Another thing, go look at those MVP odds. When I looked, I believe yesterday, 2 days ago, I think it was 2 days ago, Ohtani was plus 180 for MVP. And I feel like if you think the Dodgers are going to win the series, Ohtani's probably going to be the MVP. Plus 80 is a pretty good number. Plus 180 is a pretty good number there.
Would you take it? Because Charlie Kennedy's finding this at plus 135.
Wow.
Man, that's getting for a series MVP, that's awfully short.
I mean, it's because but like the thing
he's so awesome.
Since he goes 2 ways.
He'd have to me, the only way he doesn't hit is if he has a really poor hitting performance, obviously, but like he'd have to get blown up when he's pitching. And I think that would take him off the table.
Or
right?
Freeman just goes clutch city. Freeman's been amazing in the playoffs.
What's interesting to me is Ohtani was basically not that good through 3 games in the NLCS. And he still won the MVP in 4 games because of 1 game.
Right.
That's how good he is. That's why the odds are so
played.
short. Yes.
Was it the divisional series where it was first at bat of the whole series, game 1, and he threw it? It was just like, wow, yeah.
Wild card series. He had a home run to lead it off.
Sniper, I was thinking about sprinkling that just because that would just be so much fun. Like World Series, game 1 showing. Oh,
yeah. I people in the chat earlier brought up like Ohtani home run, and you could totally see that. And honestly, if we're doing this, George Springer. He hit a home run to start the ALCS. He's a postseason god, 23 career playoff home runs. Might as well ride that train as well.
Wasn't Springer MVP of the World Series?
Was that with the Astros?
In 2017. Yes, he was MVP.
As a Yankee fan, Springer has tortured me in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Katie Taylor, otherwise known as Katie Taylor. Happy Friday, everyone. Today, I officially have a 6-year-old. Happy birthday to Nash. Happy birthday, Nash.
Happy birthday.
I'm guessing you're not watching, but Katie, send our happy birthday sentiments and regards. Let's go to Mike B19 Buckets. What do you think about Leeds money line?
Leeds are playing West Ham. West Ham is a team that might just be one of the most embarrassing teams in the top 5 leagues. They are playing at home against teams like Brentford, and they are putting together toothless efforts and really doing nothing about it. I think they're going down this season. It is ugly, ugly, ugly to watch. I like Leeds money line. I also like Leeds over 1.5 team total. It's almost even money, minus 105, about the same number here. But West Ham just looked like they don't even care right now. So just keep betting against them while we can.
Okay, let's go to another allegedly toothless team. Jeff Stenberg says, Buckets, Preston North End, team total over 1.5 is plus 180. Is this a good spot for the home team against a Sheffield side that can't defend anyone for question marks?
No team has made me look like more of an ass than Sheffield United. When I bet on Sheffield United, I did a future show at the beginning of the season, and I bet them to get promoted. Then they proceeded to lose their next 6 matches, and they're sitting in a relegation spot. They're terrible because they tried to do this weird Moneyball situation where they were like, we're just going to look at the numbers. We're ignore. They just, I don't like them, but they're kind of slowly turning it around. I don't hate that bet, but I don't bet anything with Sheffield anymore. I've learned my lesson.
Let's go to Sox Nation. Chip, Ole Miss. Any thoughts on Ole Miss this weekend?
It's gonna be windy in Norman. It's gonna be a little bit windy. They don't call it the Dust Bowl for nothing. You know, I think that Oklahoma's going to drag the lane train kind of down into the mud. If you've been following Oklahoma football, it ain't the prettiest brand of football. This is not like a high-flying lot like CeeDee Lamb ain't out there. You don't have all these NFL wide receivers. They are leaning on one of the best defensive lines in the country, one of the best defenses in the country. I think that under is the best bet there. I think you can get it 54, somewhere around there. Seems a little too high for the type of game I'm expecting.
And see, I actually wanted to reference wind because I love wind unders in the NFL. I love what Chip's putting down. Think about the Dolphins versus Browns game last week. That total opened at 40.5. It plummeted to 35.5. If you bet the under late, you lost. If you bet the under early, you won by a good margin. So Chip is onto it with the wind unders. If the market catches up, if the weather is confirmed, the total will drop. So I love those. Wind is the most impactful thing to a football game.
Brasco, there were people earlier in the chat that were commenting on, obviously you came with UFC picks. They were commenting on how hot you are in the NFL. Can we expect a couple of picks on SportsLine this weekend?
Oh, of course. I'm going to be firing off. I wanted to come with some NFL to the show today, but like, why mess up what's working? My system, the way I've been putting in, the timing, I haven't been trying to necessarily beat the market so much because injury news has been so erratic that I want to make sure if I'm backing a team or a player prop, they got the guys I want. So that's how I'm doing it here for now. But speaking of football, I actually wanted to give one shout out to my guy, Chip. One of my first 50 followers on my Instagram, my guy, AB Austin, one of the smartest and sharpest guys. I've become close friends with him. He actually works in sports at a statistics company, super analytical guy. He said Chip is bar none the best college football analyst that I've ever heard. I tune into him every week. Thank you for introducing him to me. So Chip, I just had to share that with you because AB is not just some bozo. He's a really smart guy and he loves what you talk about.
Wow. He is really dumbing himself down, but he is enjoying college football. That shows me he's a real ball knower, but he also just loves the sport. Because
he may have also asked me, why does Chip yell so much?
Because I'm that excited about it.
That's not yelling. That's talking to Chip.
Yeah,
he's just talking. Katie Taylor says, Sniper, anyone taking Snell's case today? There was other people that commented on this. 6.5. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that one. I think he's so locked in right now. I think he's going to get deep into the game. He's efficient. Yes, I like that one. And actually, that brings me to the other side. Trey is Savage. As I said, the Dodgers are actually pretty good against the splitter, and that's his out pitch. You might look at his under on the strikeouts.
Ooh.
I love all of that. Giuseppe Maricino says, Buckets, any thoughts on Paris FC team total? Bit juicy, but they've scored 2 in all their home games so far.
It's a bit juicy around -140, -150. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite bet. This Nantes team they're playing is very frustrating because they're playing like one of those teams that when they start doing bad and they fear relegation, rather than attack and go for goals, they go, let's just sit back and play every game for a 0-0 if we can. They had 4 consecutive games end 1-0. They've kind of picked it up a little bit, but they've shown that they can play these cagey, frustrating, annoying matches. So I would stay off of it because of the juice. I think there's a good shot at hits, but at -150, it's just not quite there for me.
Now, Brasco, before we get to the recap screen, I know we have some big UFC guys in the chat. Gipper's picks, I believe, is still in there. Japan, maybe still in there. Was there anything from them that you noticed that you needed to comment on, or questions from anybody else before you answer, though?
Yeah.
If you're still watching us, and we got a lot of people watching, a lot of you have hit the like button. Do me a favor. As soon as this show is over, go to the Early Edge podcast on Apple and Spotify, hit 5 stars and say a few nice words about this group or this team or what you enjoy about the show. Again, it'll take 10 seconds of your time. And it's actually really helpful for the show. So again, just go to the Early Edge podcast, click on it, scroll to the bottom, and you'll be able to hit 5 stars and say a few words. Anybody that's listening right now, we'd really appreciate it if you did that. Danny Brasco, go ahead.
They, Gippers and Japan, I believe, are on Tom Aspinall by KO, and I cannot blame them. That is the most favored prop. If Gon eats a clean right hand and there's follow-up ground and pound, he probably won't survive it. So obviously I'm going out on a limb with the round 1 submission at plus 650. I'm playing into the narrative there with the John Jones and the Greek ground game, but I totally understand their bet. And I was happy to hear Gippers also likes Virna Jandiroba. He said the wrong fighter is favored in that bout, and I totally agree with him. But more importantly, Sia, there was a cricket comment. Someone said just bet India, even if they aren't playing, they'll win. That's a fact. And someone else, I believe it was Chris Kish, friend of the show, Chris Kish said, Brasco, there's a new sport called netball. You should be the first guy to make a SportsLine play on netball. So I'm now educating myself, Chris.
Find your niche with netball. You love it. Chris Kish is very much a friend of the show. I guess Buckets had to leave. Chip, I was going to ask him if there was any soccer questions that we needed to get to. But Chip, before we get to the recap screen, anything you saw from a college football standpoint you needed to respond to?
I saw the Ole Miss Oklahoma call as well, and also a friend of the show, Jen M, even was able to inform, like, hey, that Chip actually took the under over there. So Freddie Bear, Cal plus 6.5. I think Cal is probably the better football team here, but cross-country travel, freshman quarterback, and Cal's wide receivers among the nation's leaders in drop percentage. So maybe a little self-care Friday. Do you want to bet on the freshman quarterback flying across the country with pass catchers who lead among the nation's leaders in drops? That sounds like a frustrating Friday. You could just take Virginia Tech in the first half. You're riding Enter Sandman, you're riding Metallica, you're riding a hot start, and you're getting out after 30 minutes.
Enter Sandman. That run out is the best in all of sports, not just college football, in my opinion. So catch that. I'm sure they'll show it at 7:30 when the game starts. Buckets, any final words for us?
No, I'm good. Thanks, man.
You know the law. Subscribe.
You're welcome. Let's get to the recap screen before we do. Tell everybody about the law. 3-ball matchup, David Lipsky, minus 110 over David Skins. And a 3-ball matchup, Mac Meisner, minus 130 over Carson Young. Again, the actual 3 balls with the extra person in there, I'm okay with those as well at a lesser unit size. And don't forget, from Wednesday, I have Drake May over 19.5 completions at minus 122. I've got a lot more props along with Uncle Dave, Uncle Dave, Dave Richard, Claudia Bellafato, and of course, prop stars on the 1 o'clock show on CBS Sports Network. Real Sociedad versus Sevilla. Sevilla double chance minus 120, and AC Milan versus Pisa Sporting Club. AC Milan minus 1.5 goals, minus 120. Those two, of course, from Buckets. Then we go to Brasco. Tom Aspinall to win rounds 1 and 2 at minus 135. Tom Aspinall by round 1 submission at plus 650. And Virna Jandiroba, money line plus 130. Sorry about that, everybody. Wednesday picks from Brasco. Nasrat Hakparast?
Yeah.
Okay. Money line minus 108. And Alexander Volkov money line. That one was easy.
Yes,
plus
brother.
190. We got a Friday Night Lights game from Chip Patterson, Virginia Tech first half minus 3. And on Saturday, Diego Pavia's bunch, Vanderbilt minus 2.5, and Texas A&M LSU first half under 24.5. World Series, Matt Snyder. Blake Snell to record a win at plus 137. And first 5, under 3.5 runs, plus 105. If you thought that was it, you were wrong, because we got Cooper Flagg over 2.5 assists at minus 114 from Matt Severance. Cowboys team total over 23.5 points, minus 120 from the very hot, always hot RJ White. Jerry Jeudy under 18.5 longest reception, plus 102 from Prop Bet Guy. And a model pick for the NHL, San Jose Sharks, plus 1.5 at plus 116. We also have a producer pick. I'm pretty sure he put a basketball pick in the chat on the first half Clippers bet, but we got Indiana first half minus 14 at minus 120. Again, Indiana first half minus 14. That one is from Ben Wittenstein, our esteemed producer. Big thank you to Ben. Big thank you to Chip, Sniper, Brasco, everybody in the chat. And yes, Buckets to Buckets. You get to close out the show. We've gone 47 minutes. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. Buckets, close us out.
Don't forget to rate and review the podcast.
That was pretty good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know the law. Subscribe, rate and review. We rest our case.